They booing him. They booing him. Oh my God. DC is getting booed.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Phil Risden, and I'm making this video because famous comedian DC Youngfly just got booed in my home state of New Jersey. Before we get into it, please make sure to subscribe. Trying to get to 1,500 subscribers. You guys have been with me so far. I love you. Let's get into it. Apparently, DC was doing very well until the end when he decided to stop telling jokes and get personal. If you haven't heard, DC Youngfly actually lost his wife about a year ago from surgery complications.
I love you, Jack. These kids are beautiful, man.
And that's around the time that he started doing this segment in his stand-up comedy. He also lost his sister a few months later, which most likely added to his spirituality as well. If you look onto his social media accounts, you'll see that a lot of his posts are about God, or at least mention God, which makes total sense. If you're going through something as tough as losing a family member and losing a wife in the same year, most of us would be looking toward God for some sort of guidance or some sort of love to fill that gap. It actually doesn't surprise me that he got booed in New Jersey, by the way, because being from there and being a stand-up comedian, I will tell you, some of their crowds are pretty tough.
Well, you can argue whether it's deserved, maybe it's not, but New Jerseyans are often stereotyped as loud, brash, and maybe a little bit rude too.
Especially the black crowds. White comedy crowds in New Jersey can be tough too, but if you're not funny, they're either quiet or they just start talking over you because you're not funny enough to keep their attention. But black crowds will let you know, and that happens everywhere all across the US. But in New Jersey, black crowds can be especially ruthless. I don't think there's any place where a black crowd is harsher than in New Jersey or New York. Now, I've never seen this recent set from DC Youngfly, so I can't necessarily tell you if his set is funny, but I do respect him taking time at the end of his set to say these inspirational things, to say these spiritual things. And it's not even necessarily because of the subject matter or me being a Christian or anything like that, but I love when comedians dare to do deeper things than just the easiest joke. You know, especially nowadays with Instagram and all these reels and TikToks, when people come to these comedy shows, they think it's just going to be 90 minutes of random crowd work where they get to be the star, or it's going to be these little soundbite 20-second jokes. But the thing that makes a comedian different from the average comic, the thing that makes a comic a Dave Chappelle or a George Carlin or a Patrice O'Neal rather than any of the random comics you see at a comedy club, is the fact that they're willing to tackle larger subjects and try to speak truth to power. Now, DC doesn't seem like he was being funny in this segment, but who says that this segment wouldn't be funny later? And even if it wasn't funny later, who's to say that this segment doesn't have anything to offer the people that are there for this entertainment? I think they just didn't expect it, and so they were caught off guard and they treated him shitty. But real quick, guys, anybody in the New York City area, April 26th, 8 p.m., I have my monthly comedy show, Top Notch Comedy, at the Japanese Donut Cafe / Speakeasy, Mochi Dulce in the Upper West Side. It's a really great spot. We have a fantastic show for you guys. We put on the best comics in the city, a lot of up-and-comers, and even a couple guests as well, too. We've had writers from shows like SNL, Rick and Morty, What They Do in the Shadows, as well as headliners like Mark Normand and Ari Shaffir. So please come to the show, guys. I left the link in the description. Tickets are still available. It's going to be a good one. And if you like hearing this voice and want to see it in person, come through. Back to the show. It's funny, when I was researching the whole DC Youngfly debacle, I actually saw a comment that said, people want DC Youngfly to be the next Chris Tucker, and he doesn't want to, and they hate him for it. And I read that, and I feel like I have to agree. You know, in black comedy, I feel like we have this issue where we often want a lot of our comedians to just be like silly and a bit simple. And we don't always like them when they step outside of that, which I feel is kind of an ironic thing because some of the greatest and most prolific Black comedians are the comedians who are a little less silly, but dig deeper. You know, people like Paul Mooney, people like Dave Chappelle, you know, people like Patrice O'Neill. These are the ones that were hunting for the real answers to life and relationships and just society as a whole. And because of that, they got so much love from everyone. And I don't blame DC Youngfly for trying to achieve that with his art. That's the goal that all of us have, or that's the goal that most of us have if we actually care about comedy. You know, there's a lot of comedians who just want to get a quick check or they just want their face on a TV screen or a phone screen. But those of us that actually care about the art of comedy, breaking down jokes and trying to resonate with an audience in a true and authentic way is the dream. That's what we want. And that's what he was trying to accomplish. But what do you guys think? Do you think DC Youngfly is funny and he just had a bad night? Do you think his comedy is actually kind of lame and he should have never had a platform like this in the first place? Do you think that he's trying too hard and funny is just funny and he shouldn't be trying to get all deep? Let me know what you think. Also, let's have a little bit of a discussion about this whole Black comedy thing as well, because I do think there is an issue. Let me know in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe. That's been the video. I'll see you later. Peace.